perfect, but it's good enough. It's the most beautiful attic hatch you've ever seen.
And we are back, day 537 of flipping this house.
So
we were in the middle of waiting for the attic hatch to dry after he painted it.
All right, so now what we have to do is put some handles on it. I'm gonna put some of this contractor paper on the painted surface so that we don't scratch the paint. Flip it over on those buckets there, and then I'm going to measure where I want to have those handles at, make holes, and we're gonna screw them in.
Yeah, and then also today we're probably gonna redo some of these quarter rounds that got damaged from previous tenants. Who knows why or how. Change out the thermostat. I think that was it for the inside, right?
That's it, and then we're done.
We're gonna be done on the inside pretty soon, and then we have some outside stuff that we have to do, take care of. Here, I'll show you. Gonna fill this with some liquid cement because obviously the weeds are out of control here in Georgia. And that's why we just netted all of this and put gravel there. We haven't had time to cut this yet, but we will. And this part top that I did myself is holding up really well, luckily.
Beautiful.
And the outside, there is some fencing that has fallen apart and nobody told us about it. He put up the fence himself. It was another first-time project, like many of the projects here are. And who knows what happened? Maybe a tree or something, a branch fell on it. Because I don't know why it would just fall apart. But it's not that bad.
It did rain like the minute I finished pouring the concrete for it.
See, it's not too bad. It should be fairly easy to fix. And then I hate whatever weeds those are that grow literally taller than me, and they're very stubborn and they have thick roots. Kind of looks like a potato when you pull it out.
So
the liquid cement we'll be using some other time for that crack outside, but we've had to use that in this very room actually, because when he was doing the floors, we had to rip up a bunch of linoleum, make sure that the subfloor was straight, and there were cracks that he needed to fill just to make everything straight. And it was a big mission, remember?
Yeah.
Doing the floors here.
Yeah, we basically did all of the vinyl flooring up until this point, like right where the fridge is to like maybe about here. Or maybe we even got all the way over here.
It's been years, so it's hard to remember.
And then this section was like actually like this high, like
yeah,
3 or 4 inches higher than the rest of the floor. We had to have somebody come by and basically grind it down. And some companies were like, oh, like we won't do that because it's like, we won't make money doing it. And then we found one company where the owner was actually like, my guys won't do that, but I'll just come by and do it myself for fun. So he came and did it.
Yeah, shout out to that guy. I don't even remember what his name is either, but.
So here, I'm marking the center of this board. I'm going to draw a line straight down the middle. I don't have like a T-square or anything like that yet.
He's not achieved his full dad badge yet. Because our baby's not out yet, so.
We're about to drill holes to put these handles into the attic hatch. I made a line straight down the middle, and then I made a line shoulder width apart directly down the center of this thing. And figured that the hole should be right about here.
He made me measure his shoulders. So when you say shoulder width apart, you literally mean it.
Yeah, literally my shoulder width apart. I actually went a little bit wider just to make it an even, easy number. This is some very dense wood.
That's
see.
good though. That's good for the attic hatch.
So, what I did was I used a drill bit that is way too small for these screws. So I'm gonna go up one size. But at least now I know where the holes are. This one seems to be about the right width there. There we go. I always like to start one smaller than I think I need, just in case, because you don't want these holes to be loose.
You could always make things larger, but not really smaller.
Yeah, unless you want to get a bunch
option.
of wood filler and
Make a big mess and
work
a
really
big,
hard.
yeah.
Not trying to work really hard.
Make it
Just
a
in case
bigger-
you guys haven't noticed.
Well, you already work literally two other jobs.
Yeah. So
Besides doing this type of stuff, which is sometimes basically a part-time job, sometimes even a full-time job, depending on how much work we're doing on a property.
I would say this time around, for the 6 or 7 weeks that we've been working on this project, I would call this a full-time job.
We've put the hours in, yeah. We're literally here whenever we can, whenever possible.
And then in the summer, when we have to do a lot of yard work, it becomes part-time jobs.
At least a part-time
At least
job.
a part-time job, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so. Oops. So, not perfect. I did choke a little bit of this right here, which sucks. But I learned my lesson, and next time I will drill these holes before I paint.
Oh, yeah. That would have been a good idea. Sometimes you just don't think about things, because, yeah.
So now this will be like a little paint touch-up that I have to do.
You could even just caulk it.
All right, that's one hole, or one handle.
Looks good.
For the easy maneuvering.
I would say though, sometimes DIYing is like a Bob Ross painting. Like, it's okay if you mess up. You can always fix your mistakes. Like most, you know what I mean? Like most of the times you can fix your mistakes. Like, yeah, this is maybe he went in a little bit of a backwards order here with the whole paint thing, but you can fix it.
Yeah.
So it's okay. Just all it means is a little bit more work for yourself.
Yeah.
Which you try to avoid, but it's gonna happen. That's why with these projects, it always takes longer than you think it's gonna take. Like every single time it takes way longer than you think it's gonna take because things happen.
Yeah, if you're trying to come up with like a timeline for yourself,
Double it. Double whatever it is.
sometimes triple it.
Yeah, I thought that this whole thing was only going to take a month, and it's definitely been more than a month. Also, there is the balance of what's worth it to pay other people to do and what's not. Something like this is clearly not worth it to pay somebody else to do. This is very simple stuff, you know. But something like reglazing the tub where you're dealing with a bunch of toxic chemicals, and I've heard of people really messing that up, and that's a giant pain.
In fact, we've had somebody really mess that up.
Yeah, that's true. We've had the tub reglazed now 2 times in 3 years, and it shouldn't be like that, because the first time around, got some guy that didn't have any reviews or anything, but he was very cheap and available. And that was my bad for needing it like right there and then and as cheap as possible. It looked good at first and then didn't last but 2 years. So somehow while he was fixing that, we have a mysterious blood stain that just showed up. We're trying to figure out where the heck that came from.
I'm not bleeding anywhere.
It looks like blood. What? I guess this is haunted or something. That's really strange. Okay.
I guess I am bleeding.
Yeah, you have to be bleeding. That's
The tiniest
definitely
little
blood.
bit on my finger.
You probably got a splinter and you didn't realize it.
Only covered with
Oopsies.
blood.
What? That was really strange.
Usually if I'm bleeding, I feel like I'm bleeding. Now I can't even tell where I'm bleeding from. But
It's probably a tiny splinter. But yeah, this comes out with like some paper towel magic.
Right
erase.
on the tip of my middle finger. I don't think you even need magic erase because that's very fresh.
That's crazy. What if it was like the door hatch itself? It's just bleeding because it's haunted.
That's just weird.
Ooh.
All right, so I think I am gonna take your trick and use some caulk to fill in those little holes. I don't feel like painting this anymore.
Yeah, I think caulk will do the trick. You know, I'm a big fan of caulk. Not like that. What are you thinking about? I ain't saying that.
Shoulder width apart so you can comfortably put that up.
And let's comment again about how it's so much better to use plastic than paper.
Yeah.
And you have to temporarily seal the attic hatch.
Yeah, I could feel how hot it is up there. It feels like it's 120 degrees coming in through the attic.
Yeah, it's 84 degrees out today, so the attic is gonna be way hotter than that.
The attic is less hot than usual. Only about 120 degrees today. Making sure I don't get more blood on it.
Mystery blood. I wish I would have got that first reaction on camera, but I wasn't rolling when we realized that there was blood on there out of nowhere. Mystery blood. See, you literally put your blood, sweat, and tears into these things. People don't understand. Are you gonna caulk the side
I am.
here?
I totally am.
Doop, doop, doop.
Wider than I want it to be. Not sure how that happened. Might have to sand down the sides of this thing a little bit.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
What?
Huh. Huh.
What?
This is original to the house. This thing is.
Yeah, we haven't touched
This
that.
is not something that I cut.
I mean, we've touched it, but we did not cut it. Maybe it contracted with the weather? That's really strange. I'm confused.
So, it's like, it's too flush. What we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to sand down the sides.
What the heck? Okay. That's strange.
Yeah. You're telling me.
I guess it's because we're getting towards Halloween that like a lot of weird stuff is happening. Like things that fit magically and perfectly for years all of a sudden don't fit, and random blood stains appearing on things. first fitting after sanding. Might not even be the last one, the way these things go. Yay! It's because I said it might not be the last one. You have to like do the opposite game for things to work.
There you go. And now you can maneuver this in and out. Not easily, but more easily than before.
Yeah, you don't want it to be too easy because then it's not snug. And then you have to spend a lot more pulling this place down.
There you go.
And stressing out the AC unit and everything. Thank you.
So
that's good.
That's done. We're going to put some caulk around the edges of this thing. And then we'll be done with this part.
Woo!
I'm basically Bob Ross right now.
See, there's nothing you could do that's that bad. You could fix everything.
You could literally fix everything with a little bit of caulk.
That's true. Now we just gotta get the hand smudges off of there. But we're not in the cleaning phase yet. I'm getting ahead of myself.
This is like my Sistine Chapel.
Just filling in the little
All the little gaps that I
nails.
made when I had to nail this in.
Yep.
I'm gonna just fill those in.
And hopefully the AC guys or the tenants and all the people that open this up don't completely destroy it. The only drawback that I could foresee is that because it is white and it does tend to be AC guys coming in and out of there, that I could see that getting dirty with
Oh, we should have painted it black.
some little fall prints. But
I feel stupid. We definitely should have painted it black.
really?
Yeah.
You're serious?
No.
Oh, beautiful.
I mean, it's all right. Not necessarily.
I thought this was your Sistine Chapel. You take it back?
No. You think that Michelangelo thought his work was perfect? You don't think he was like, yeah, it's all right. That could be better.
Yeah, he probably was a perfectionist. And now that the attic hatch is done, we're gonna move into retouching up some of these quarter rounds that have gotten
Destroyed.
messed up and either the tenant moving in or out, or maybe just moving stuff around to clean. Because when you gave it to them, everything was brand new. All of the floors and all the quarter rounds were brand new. I'm gonna start with that one.
Yeah, start with this one.
This one's the most likely one to get messed up as people move their stuff in and out or just walk in and out of the place. Don't we have a thing for that? A specific?
At the house.
Oh, we didn't bring any of the stuff for the floor?
We don't really need it for this.
We should vacuum that stuff up.
Yeah. I also am gonna need my pliers, any pliers from over there.
Okay, we vacuumed it up. We used some pliers and took out the nails that were sticking out of it.
Now we're gonna cut this piece to fit. I'm wondering if I should try to even... No, it's not gonna make it.
Oh, try to cover up that part?
Try to get like all the way.
Yeah, no, I think that's awkward.
Yeah, that's awkward. It would never fit. You'd have to get an entire separate piece to go there. So.
My poor cord around. You should make these things out of cement so people can't mess them up.
36 and a half inches. 36 and a half. Which is almost this whole piece. So we are gonna have to go get some more of this.
Yay. How many times do you think we've gone to Lowe's and Home Depot this time around? Like 20?
I, by myself, have gone at least 9 times. Us together, I would say maybe another 15 times. I wouldn't be surprised. Alright, let's hope that this is a perfect fit. I tried to cut a little bit extra so that I don't leave myself with extra, so I don't have waste. So I'm gonna cut off like tiny little bit more. Nice and snug. And then you grab your handly brad nailer.
The Bradley nailer.
The Bradley nailer.
As I like to call it.
And I like to put the pressure a little bit lower when I'm gonna...
And then you hit them with the...
When I'm doing these things, because I don't want it to like completely destroy the piece.
Yeah, these are very, it's a pretty thin piece. Delicate. It's probably like, this little thing is probably always gonna need to be repaired after every single tenant. I would not be surprised.
And there you go, very tight.
Yeah.
This one is sticking out a tiny little bit.
Yeah.
I don't want anybody cutting their bottom of their foot, but who enters the house with no shoes on?
Me? I like to be barefoot.
I don't know if I should take that out or try it again. Try to get it deeper in, or just pull it out and... Alright, that's pretty flush. Alright, so...
As long as it's flush and it's not sticking out. That's what's important.
Get trapped on your sock as you're leaving the house.
That.
You're leaving the house, getting ready to go to work, and your socks, and then you go, and then it just pulls you right back in.
That does remind me, the last place that we rented, remember that, what was the situation with the carpets and the nails?
So the carpet, the tack board, I think is what it's called. It's like a bunch of little, it's like a strip of wood.
The spikes,
with spikes on it. And you're supposed to angle them towards the wall, and then you put the carpet on it and like stretch it the other way. They were pointing inward to the room away from the wall.
Yeah.
And every time I would get near the wall, I would step on them and it would go right through my foot.
Yeah, our socks had a bunch of holes in them thanks to that. Thanks to whoever did that. That was amazing.
So now we're gonna measure around the house and see how many more of these things we need.
And then we'll go to Lowe's, pick up more, and we'll be back.
Yeah.
One eternity later.
We are back, and it has been how many hours since we left?
Maybe 2.
Maybe 2 hours, because I wish I would have brought my camera with me, but I didn't think anything was gonna happen. I thought we were just gonna go to Lowe's, buy the quarter round, and move on with our life. But that's not at all what happened. We went to Lowe's, and it was so disorganized that we literally could not find the quarter round we were looking for. We looked for about 15, maybe even 20 minutes, and then gave up because my blood sugar started getting really low because I'm pregnant and I am super freaking hungry, so I could not wait for lunch. I had to go get lunch. So then we had to drive all the way to the house, and then we went to the Lowe's by our house, and we were able to find the quarter round we were looking for in like 5 minutes. So moral of the story is, the hardware store you go to can make or break your project. Like, you could sink so much time into a disorganized mess of a store, or you could just try a different store and hopefully they're more organized. They're both Lowe's. I guess one just has really bad management. They were just so disorganized. It literally looked like all the quarter rounds were shoveled together. Like they were just all like, you just couldn't. And so yeah, so then we went to the other one and we found it so quickly. Crazy story.
Yep.
We decided to get way more than we needed because it was such a pain in my butt to get the quarter rounds that to go through this again, super not worth it. So today's just one of those days where you thought you were gonna get a couple of things done and move on with your life really fast, and that's just not at all what happened.
I cut this one like crap, and I'm not going to be able to cut the same exact crappy angle. I'm wondering if I can just take this one out, and since we got a lot more than we need, just fill this whole wall.
Do whatever you need to do.
Okay.
We also came to the conclusion that next time we do this, we're gonna rip all these out and just replace them with the plastic ones, because they're a lot cheaper, a lot easier to find.
And they don't have like the paper on the edge that rips off.
Right, they're more durable. But yeah, can you believe that quarter round?
Can what?
The quarter round.
Yeah, I can believe it, because this happened the last time that we were doing this project, the first time around.
We ended up going to the Lowe's by our house instead of this one because it was so hard to find the things we were looking for. And then on top of that, there's no cell phone service in that particular Lowe's either.
That's true.
So we can't like just find the thing.
Because if you go on the Lowe's website, it'll tell you what bay and what aisle or whatever you'll find the product you're looking for. And
but you need cell phone service.
But you need service, or you can spend 4 hours trying to connect to the Lowe's internet, but I'd rather not.
I'm just wondering, like, how did the quarter rounds even get so disheveled? It's crazy. Like, somebody pranking the Lowe's employees. I don't know. It was just, I don't know how that happens.
Okay, so I gotta cut it at a 45-degree angle so that it matches the corner, which you can mess this up very easily.
And it's hard to get it flat.
And it's very difficult to get these pieces flat because, as you could see,
they're quarter round.
They're not perfectly flat.
That's why they're called quarter round.
That means that you can't lay it like this. You can't lay it like that. It has to be perfectly
like how it'd be on the wall.
Like how it's going to be on the wall. So I'm going to make this first cut, and we're just going to go test. I can already tell you that I just realized I did it the wrong direction. So that's why this process is a little bit of a pain. I was trying to keep it taped so that I don't pull off what is essentially wallpaper on this thing.
How did you realize it was backwards?
Because I saw how it was going to be cut. And this is an inside corner, right? So the way that I have it cut would be for an outside corner for another one to come up and meet here, but I actually need it to meet here. It's hard to explain without looking directly at it. It ain't perfect, but it's not perfect.
It ain't perfect, but it's also not perfect.
So. And then when you're putting two of these together, you also don't want them to be flat to flat. You want to have one
It's like an angle.
covering, yeah, the other one. So that's what we're about to do here. And just for simplicity, I'm gonna keep this on the same angle, and then I will invert the angle when we cut the piece to go over it.
It's backwards, I think.
It doesn't fit because it's backwards. This is the piece that's gonna cover.
Yeah,
So, either way,
that's the idea.
that's the idea. No one ever told me how to do this properly.
No one ever told me how to nail these things.
There you go. Ta-da. Like
Yeah.
it. Looks much better.
He did all the middle part too, but I wasn't filming that part.
You can almost not even see this seam here.
Very nice.
Alright. And now, this section.
I also almost forgot that we were lucky enough to find the under sink liner at the nicer, more organized Lowe's. So yet another example about how going to the correct location sometimes makes all the difference in getting your DIY projects done better, because I was gonna order that online, have to wait for it, yada, yada, yada. Just a major pain. So that's relief.
I would still like to change out this one, but
I don't think it's worth it. It was such a pain to find the thing and to go through all that traffic back and forth to get there. He just nailed that one in. Looking much better. I think that that's okay.
you think we're done
You
for
really
today?
can't even see it. Well, if we want, we can do the under the counter thing.
Oh yeah.
Now that we actually have the supplies, and then we could wrap it up because we do have a brewing class later, which all he does is he gets there and they ask questions like, hey, what's the best way to de-stress? And he says to go to Home Depot and buy stuff. I'm like, yeah, I'm totally gonna wanna do that while I'm in labor.